This is Charles the Nerdiest reporting for the Nerdiest Podcast on Spotify. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about Marvel Rivals, and more specifically, which characters I want to see added to Marvel Rivals. Welcome to episode 4 of the Nerdiest Podcast on Spotify. This is Charles the Nerdiest. I'm so glad to be able to make another episode. Been sort of on a hiatus because I've been a bit poorly and I've had other stuff going on. But I'm back with a cool subject to talk about. So let's get straight into Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals is, if for those of you who do not know what Marvel Rivals is one of the most recent games in the gaming world. It's obviously a Marvel game, and it's basically I think it's a PvE, I think that's the word you use. It's like Overwatch, where you like fight in different scenarios, and it's like in teams versus teams. It's not like Fortnite Battle Royale. It's like team fights and stuff. And I have recently when it was announced, I pre-downloaded it, and when it first dropped, I fell in love with the game instantly. Having these characters so faithfully adapted from the comics into a game, and the style of the game is so cool, like the animations, the sound effects, and just the gameplay is super satisfying. Something about the gameplay is super fun. I fell in love with Marvel Rivals. A load of other people fell in love with Marvel Rivals, and it took off. Like, it became really popular. So yeah, Marvel Rivals, popular game. They've just added, from my knowledge, they have just added Angela, Daredevil, Blade, and Gambit. Gambit was the most recent hero they have added in, I think, season 4 or 5. I don't know what season we're on right now, but it's been really fun. I currently play. This is why I like asking people, who do you play in Marvel Rivals? Because it tells me a lot about who you are as a person. So I play Star-Lord, Rocket, Adam, Warlock, and I play Groot as well. I play Wolverine. I play a lot of characters. At the minute, so there's something in the game called a Lord. So if you have a character Lord, a Lord character is like the character at their max level. My Star-Lord and my Rocket are both Lords. My Wolverine is almost at Lord. I'm working on getting my Adam to Lord, and I'm working on getting my Groot to Lord. So, Groot is the first tank that I've actually properly mained, just because I don't like overly complex characters. So like, I like Star-Lord because his kit is very easy to use, so is Rocket, and so is Adam, and so is Groot. These are very easy characters, and I think I prefer it to be easy. I'm not the best gamer in the world. I mean, I'm alright, but yeah. But I just love the cosmic side of Marvel a lot. And so yeah, obviously Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon, Groot, and Adam, they're all from the cosmic side of Marvel. But I wanted to make a podcast episode talking about the characters that I would love to see in the future implemented into this game. What characters from the Marvel universe would I like to see inside of Marvel Rivals? I have a list. I can't speak. I have a list in front of me that I wrote earlier of all the characters and all the roles that I think they are or would be if they were implemented in the game. So I'm going to go through some of these, give you my thoughts, and hopefully in like a few years, if they do add any of my suggestions, I could play them in a game, and that'd be fun. But yeah, let's get into the list. So for the first one that I want them to add to Marvel Rivals, I want them to do some more cosmic characters. As you guys know, I love the cosmic Marvel. It's probably my favorite of the Marvel, like, comic scene. I don't really like the Avengers. I don't really like Spider-Man. But it just draws to me, the cosmic side. It's just like Star Wars in space with other stuff going on, but yeah. More specifically, I do love the Guardians. Obviously, that's Rocket, Groot, Gamora, Drax, Nebula, Star-Lord. I'm missing someone, I think. Mantis, all these characters. We've already got Star-Lord, we've already got Groot, we've already got Adam, we already got Rocket Raccoon, we've already got Mantis. These are all already in the game. But there are characters from the Guardians that I would like it to see in the game. Such as Drax. I want Drax the Destroyer as a tank in Marvel Rivals. They need to do this. It will be so good. Drax the Destroyer, he fits the tank role perfectly. He's a destroyer. He destroys things. He's like the Hulk, but basically more smart and more. He's just he his whole thing is that he goes for blood. He sees red and just goes crazy. I don't know what that was, but he goes crazy and he just destroys everything, I guess. So I would like to see Drax as a tank. That would be so awesome, I think. He would just definitely, he would fit into the Marvel Rivals art style. I want to see his default style be the green and red. I don't like the MCU style, but I think the MCU style should be a skin, like many other MCU styles in the game. I think they should have that option of having that teal with the red spots, the tattoos. I think that would be a nice skin. But yeah, Drax the Destroyer. Let's talk about what his kit could possibly be. Like, what would Drax the Destroyer do in a game? I, for one, think that Drax the Destroyer would have, he would obviously be tank. He'd have quite a lot of health. He would have limited movement. I feel like, so he has his 2 daggers in the comics and in the films. So I feel like that would be his primary attack. And he just like swings his arms around, like left, right, like swinging his hooks and is like like stabbing people. And I think that would be his primary attack. And it'd be sort of like Wolverine's claws. So that's his primary. What would his like secondary ability be? I feel like a dash or something. Maybe just a little bit of a movement. I'm not like a games designer. I don't know what's the whole steps for designing a character for Marvel Rivals. These are just ideas that are popping into my head and making their way out my mouth. So I don't know. So 2 daggers, he's stabbing people, and maybe maybe his ultimate ability could be, like he just, I don't know, like I'm just making this up on the spot, but what if he like starts using a saxophone and the music just deafens people and it just like, cause obviously he was a saxophone player. I'm just joking. But that would be pretty cool. So yeah, Drax the Destroyer as a tank in Marvel Rivals. That would be awesome. That would be peak. I would love it. I know a lot of other people would love it too. But give us that green and red Drax. That would be perfect. Let's keep on with the Guardians. I want to see Gamora as a duelist in Marvel Rivals. Gamora, we have Star-Lord, but we don't have Gamora. It feels like something's missing in the Guardians, in Marvel Rivals Guardians team. Gamora would definitely be a duelist. She would definitely go for damage. She would definitely be sort of like Wolverine sort of like Hela. If anyone's played Hela, I feel like she'd function a bit like that. Gamora also, she uses also knives, I think. She uses her fists, she kicks, so maybe that could be an ability. But I would want her design to be, I just don't want her to be confused with Mantis, which is what has happened a lot in the comics. As many people know, in the comics, she is green and has green hair. Mantis is green and has black hair. It gets kind of confusing. So in Marvel Rivals, I would rather than make her grey, like her original appearance. I feel like it would just define her away from Mantis. I know Mantis isn't actually green. Actually, I just realized Mantis isn't green in Marvel Rivals. So they could make her actually... They could make her more green. But then they could have a grey skin. A recolor of her first appearance. And I feel like her ultimate ability could be like... maybe something to do with Thanos, or like she spins around and just she's sort of like an acrobat, right? She's very like assassin sort of thing. And I feel like they should add Nebula as well. If they were going to add Gamora, they need to add Nebula just because they're, you know, sisters, and I feel like they don't come as one, they come as two. So Nebula as a strategist, I think would be really cool, because she could use her it's sort of like she's a robot, she's a cyborg. She's a full robot, I think. So she could use her like electricity to like kinetic electricity to heal people, protect people, deal damage. You know, I feel like that would be pretty cool. I feel like she'd function a little bit like Wanda does in Marvel Rivals, with her little beam of like kinetic energy, and it just heals and does damage at the same time. And I feel like she could be very like sneaky and absorb damage as well. I feel like Nebula would be a really great pick for a strategist. And I think they could do a team up with Gamora and Nebula. Something of like a shield or something that like boosts damage to Gamora and heals allies. I don't know. I think that would be cool to have a team up between the two sisters. What about a Drax team up with Groot would be pretty cool. Two tanks teaming up. That'd be pretty cool. And let's stick with the Guardians, sort of cosmic Marvel. The next one I want to see in Marvel Rivals is Nova. Richard Rider as a duelist. I love Richard Rider. I love Nova. I haven't read much Nova comics. I want to get into it. Ever since I've read Annihilation War, he has just been such a like appeal character. He's so appealing to me. Like, he runs around in space as like this super cop and this like really cool dude. But yeah, he would be a duelist. I feel like he would deal loads of damage with his cosmic energy. He would be a little bit like Adam Warlock in the sense that he's cosmic and can like, I feel like you know how Adam heals people and it is sort of like a beam throughout. So you heal one person and it like goes through the whole, like if you have 4 people and you heal one, it will go through 3 of them and it will spread the heals evenly between them. I feel like that is a need. Nova could deal damage that way, so it like you hit one person and it spreads. He could have bombs, he could fly, you know, he could be a flying character. I just want the blue yellow Nova suit with that helmet. Would be so cool, I think. He could have a team up with Star-Lord, with, you know, Adam. He could have a team up with Adam for sure. I love Nova. He's so cool. I think Duelist fits him really well. Yeah, I love Nova. I love his design. You could do so many costumes for him as well. You could do a classic Nova. You can do a Richard Rider Nova. You can do Loads of different ones. Oh, voice crack. Let's also go for the next one, Bug. I want to see Bug in Marvel Rivals as a strategist or a duelist. If you don't know who Bug is one of the first Guardians. He's a very OG Guardian. He's just basically this guy who he's like a bug. There's not much else. Very self-explanatory, or whatever the word is. But he's on all fours. He's got weird feet. He's green. He's got bug eyes. He has this staff, and he sort of just runs around being like a little spider bug thing on the walls and just jumps on people. I feel like he would have a lot of movement in the game if he was added. Yeah, Bug. I just think he's very underappreciated as a character in Marvel. I wanted to see him in the MCU, but I knew that's probably not practical, is it? Nobody knows who Bug is, so they won't spend money on making character who nobody knows. But I would like to see him eventually added to Marvel Rivals. I feel like it is a little bit of a stretch, but you never know. They're going to eventually run out of characters to add, and I feel like Bug would be a perfect character as a strategist, flying through the air, like pouncing over people just to heal you with his staff, and like, yeah, I feel like he would be a very fun character, a bit like Jeff, a bit like Rocket, just like a funny, like, not meme character, but like a cute character that runs around as a bug, and he can like fly because he's got little wings as well. I feel like that would be really cool, in my opinion. I might be the only one who thinks that, but I don't really care because I want them to add Bug. He's cool. So moving on from Bug, let's get into some more potential Marvel Rivals characters. Let's talk about some. As you guys know, I really love Cosmic Marvel, Cosmic, I really love, like, the Guardian. So the Guardian started my cosmic journey through Marvel, and when I found out that there was like a whole separate thing of Adam Warlock, Nova, Silver Surfer, you got, what's his name? Thanos, Thor, I cannot think of his name. The guy in Fantastic Four. He was in Fortnite. I can't remember his name though. With the helmet. It'll come back to me in a minute, but you get the idea. I really like the space, like flying around and like weird looking creatures at a bar, and just like that whole vibe of sci-fi and cool looking guns and flying around in a jetpack is so appealing to me. So I really want them to start. I would like them to do a like cosmic season where they add like Silver Surfer, Nova, all the people I mentioned before. Like, I feel like that'd be great, and they can add like Thanos as well, and Galactus, that's who it is. Okay, I don't know why my mind blanked on that name so bad, but yeah, Galactus. I would love to see Galactus. Speaking of Galactus, the next character that I would like to see in Marvel Rivals, as a playable character in Marvel Rivals, drumroll please, Silver Surfer as a support or a duelist. Now I feel like this is the perfect character for a healer. I feel like you can implement him sort of as they did Human Torch as a flyable character, as they did Storm, if you've played Storm in that game, who flies around the map, sort of out of the way, but sort of can heal from above. I feel like that would be really cool. From my knowledge, I don't think we have a flying healer in the game at the moment. I mean, you could count Rocket because he sort of like has a jetpack, but like from the top of my head, I can't think of any flight healers. But I feel like Silver Surfer on his surfboard, flying up in the air, he can use his surfboard as like a shield. Like he can put it in front of him, or he could just completely go solid and like shield himself from all the bullets and stuff. I feel like that would be dope. He just becomes indestructible. And he heals allies. He can like charge into like a tank and like grab them and throw them around, and like his primary attack would be like throwing stars or some shit like that. That would be so dope. Just throwing stars at people, cosmic energy in their face. And the way he heals people, he just throws the stars and they heal them. I feel like that would be pretty cool. Because, you know, obviously if you're a flying character, you would have to have a projectile primary weapon, because it'd be kind of useless not, because you'll be up in the sky, but you won't be able to deal damage if you have to go up close to them. I mean, maybe they could change it and have him just punch people with his silver hands and just completely batter people. That would be dope. But I would like to see him on his surfboard in the air, throwing stars at people, healing people from above, saying some epic lines like "my burden" or something. I don't know what that was, but something like that would be dope. Silver Surfer as a support in Marvel Rivals would be so cool, and the costumes you could do. You don't even have to make him fully silver in every costume. You could like have him in his human form, have him like sort of Venom, symbiote. You could do so many, because he's like a blank canvas. His character is meant to be sort of very simple and basic. He's just silver, right? But I feel like you can do so many cool costumes and just chuck him in the most random outfits. And I would main Silver Surfer. That I know for sure, because he is epic. So yeah, that's Silver Surfer. I would love to see him in the game. Like, that would be a dream. I feel like his design would fit the Marvel Rivals style really well as well. But moving on, let's talk about another character that I would like to see in Marvel Rivals. Vision. Let's talk about Vision as a support. We've already got Ultron. He's a very cool character in Marvel Rivals. He functions as pretty much as I think how Vision would function. Flying in the air, healing with his, he's a robot, so obviously he heals with, I think it's like he heals with like electricity and like, because he's a robot, that's his whole thing. I was talking about Nebula earlier. I think this would function the same way, but she would definitely be on the ground. Like, obviously she doesn't fly, but Vision would obviously be in the air with his cape, his yellow cape. He would be attacking with the Mind Stone. I think his primary attack should be the Mind Stone laser. His heal ability should be from his palm, and he just like heals you with his palm. So his primary is his like laser, and then his laser would function a bit like Iron Man's beam in the game in Marvel Rivals at the moment. From his head, and he just lasers the whole thing, destroying everything. And he would heal you from like his hand. He would just like heal you from afar I feel like he could function as well like Angela. So he can be flying in the air, and then he can be grounded as well and walk around, because obviously that's what he does in the films. I feel like that would be a pretty interesting character to play. Being in the air 1 minute and then being on the ground healing would be cool. Obviously, I love his design. His yellow cape is really cool. He's also another character like Silver Surfer who I think would have really good voice lines. I feel like his conversations with other characters like Iron Man and Ultron would be crazy cool. They are probably they are probably going to be adding Vision soon, I would assume, because of the MCU and how big he was in those films. They don't like adding characters that aren't really from the MCU because nobody would know who they are, or if you haven't picked up a comic, you won't know. But like, you could say that for the Nightcrawler and Wolverine wasn't in the MCU until recently, so, you know, that's a whole situation in itself. But Vision as a support, flying around, healing you from above. His ultimate. Now let's talk about, I didn't talk about Silver Surfer's ultimate. Oh, I'm stupid. Silver Surfer, let's talk about Silver Surfer's ultimate ability. So an ultimate ability is you're like, over time you gather like percentages to power your final move, and it's like this big ultimate ability, right? I feel like Silver Surfer ultimate ability, if he was a support, he would probably, I would feel like it would function a bit like, you know, like, Invisible Woman's shield, but it like ever expands. So from him, it goes up and around, and there's like stars that heal you around you. Maybe he like swings his surfboard or like goes super fast and like heals you. I don't know. There's so many possibilities. But for Vision's ultimate ability, he could like explode like he did in Infinity War. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's Infinity War. But that would be pretty cool, and then that would be a cool reference to the films. But he could explode and like it does loads of damage and heals loads of people, and then he like like something happens and he comes back at the end. Or maybe you just die after I don't know. I'm not a games designer, like I said multiple times. I don't know how well that would work, but I think it would be pretty cool as a Vision, flying around in the air and then just dive bombing into a crowd and blowing up. I feel like that'd be sick. That would be their ultimate abilities. I don't know about Silver Surfer's ultimate. I feel like that's a bit difficult because he's so powerful, he's so cosmic. There's something that you have to figure out that stands him out from the rest of the healers in the game. Let's talk about another character. Let's talk about a duelist that I want added to Marvel Rivals. One of my favorite MCU characters, Ant-Man, needs to be added into this game. His design would be so cool, and he would function really cool as well. I feel like he would be really difficult to implement, but if they do it right, it would be crazy cool. Because obviously Ant-Man's abilities, he can go small, he can go large. That's pretty much it. He's not like super strong. I mean, he is obviously, but he can go big or small. He's Ant-Man, right? So if they can nail his abilities as Ant-Man, they could definitely add the Wasp as well alongside him. And I feel like the Wasp would function as a support and Ant-Man as a duelist. Ant-Man diving in, going super small, then going back to regular size. It does a throwback, so it like knocks people around. He can hit you when he's super small and do loads of damage. He can hit you when he's super small and do like very minimal damage, but when he's in normal size and he hits you, he does like crazy damage. So there's like a cooldown as well on the ability to go small, so people don't just abuse being small and not being seen. I think it would function a little bit like Invisible Woman going invisible, just very tiny and hard to hit. You would still be able to be hit, but it'd be tiny. And then for his ultimate or for another ability, I feel like he would go large, right? So he would like go really big, and I don't know how big. I don't know if this would crash the game, but I feel like you have to do something where he goes really huge, even if it's just his like hand or something. I don't know. Or if he throws a car or something. I don't know. That'd be pretty cool. Ant-Man, I would play Ant-Man any day. This would be a cool addition. So I would definitely play Ant-Man. if they add the Wasp, that would be even cooler because she can fly, she can heal, and her ultimate could also be her going big or small, you know. There's so many possibilities you can do with these two characters that they can even be tanks. You can make them supports, you can make them duelists, or you can make them vanguards, you know. So it's like, if you need someone to fill in a vanguard, just add Ant-Man and make him big, you know. It won't not make sense because they're so flexible in what they can be. You can do the MCU costumes, you can do some really interesting Ant-Man original costumes, some classic costumes, Hank Pym costume. And yeah, I love the original Hank Pym Ant-Man helmet. If you don't know what it is, it's so cool. I think it's so retro and awesome. But yeah, they need to add in Ant-Man. That'd be such a cool gameplay feature. If he could just go big and small at any given time, I would eat that up. So that's Silver Surfer as a support, Vision as a support, and then Ant-Man as a duelist or support or tank. It doesn't really matter. And then obviously the Wasp, if they can nail Ant-Man's abilities, you can then add the Wasp with similar abilities, but then have her be able to fly as well because she has the wings. I feel like that would be dope. So we have talked about Drax, Gamora, Nebula, Nova, Vision, Silver Surfer, Ant-Man, and Bug so far. Let us talk about some other characters. I know I've been talking about for ages, and I'm glad if you're still listening because, to be honest, it's kind of annoying listening to me talk, but I'm glad you're still here. Let's talk about a Spider-Man villain. We need more villains in Marvel Rivals. I know that's kind of crazy because it is a superhero shooter or whatever, but we have Hela, we have Venom, we have these characters that are considered evil or villains, and they're fighting alongside, you know, Spider-Man and really Captain America, like heroes, you know. So it's a very versatile game. So you can add villains and have it make sense. So if they were to add any villain from anyone's rogue gallery, I would want them to add Spider-Man. Wait, what? They've already got Spider-Man in the game. Not Spider-Man, Sandman. They need to add Sandman, the Spider-Man villain Sandman, as a vanguard in Marvel Rivals. He is the easiest pick to be a vanguard. Like, Sandman in the Sam Raimi, I'm saying S a lot. There's Spider-Man, Sandman, Silver Surfer, Sam Raimi, all this is SSS, bro. Sandman in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, ooh, that was crazy, was brilliant. I love the Sandman villain. The cartoons, the animated series, they do him really well. I love that he's not just considered like dumb and stupid and this brute that is Sand. He is a brute, but he's not stupid. He has a dynamic with his daughter, where he's trying to be a good man, but obviously he can't be a good man because he's the Sandman, right? Give me that yellow, give me that green and black shirt. Give me that sand. Give him a ability where he can just disintegrate into sand. That would be awesome. His primary attack. As a vanguard, he needs to be dealing damage. He needs to be in the front lines, pushing enemies back, defending the objective, right? So his primary attack should be like a sand punch, where he just, a bit like the Thing, where he punches people and it knocks them back with the sand. I feel like that would be pretty cool. The effects of the punch would be pretty cool because it's obviously sand. And his reload could be him touching the ground and sand coming up, and he reloads his fist full of sand and he punches people, swings and punches people back, and it knocks them back. He can function a little bit like Groot with another ability where he puts up a wall, or he does like I don't know how to describe it, like a sand wall that pushes people out the way, like a massive push of sand. That'd be so cool. And then for a third ability, he could like have like his famous massive sand hammer, and it just whacks people out the way. I feel like he would be a very aggressive tank. He stands his ground. He takes no crap. He could have a team up with like the Thing, like I said. He could have a team up with Venom. That would be a great team up with Sandman and Venom would be a great team up in Marvel Rivals. You could do like a sand symbiote team up where the sand, I don't know, turns into a massive symbiote bomb. I don't know. I'm just making this up on the spot. But I love Sandman, and I feel like he would be great as a Vanguard, because we need more villains. Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery is probably the best Marvel Rogue Gallery, and the most classic. Like, everybody knows Sandman. They need to add him, man. It would be so cool. His banter between, like, other characters, other villains, and Spider-Man obviously would be great. He could fit into the storyline because Spider-Man's already in the game, so it doesn't really... Obviously, you won't add Sandman if Spider-Man's not in the game first, because that wouldn't really make sense. There are so many villains from Spider-Man that you could add in Marvel Rivals and have it work really well, in the roles, in the classes. I feel like they would fit super well. I'm not going to go into depth. Let's talk about Sandman's ultimate ability. I think his ultimate ability should be something like, Jeff's ultimate, where Jeff, like, obviously he digs underground, and then he goes, nom nom nom, and then he eats loads of people and spits them out. Something like that, but maybe not eats people. I think he should be able to disintegrate into the ground, and then Sandman creates a tornado into the ground, creating quicksand, sort of like Jeff's ult, and it just sinks you into the ground slowly, and you take damage over time. And then if you don't get out of the quicksand, you die completely. I feel like that would be a pretty cool ultimate for Sandman there. But yeah, let's talk about some Spider-Man villains that we could have in Marvel Rivals. My favorite Spider-Man villain, that's difficult. I do like Green Goblin. I love how he was done in No Way Home and the Sam Raimi trilogy. But I gotta say, Sandman is probably my favorite. He's just so cool. I don't know why. That one scene from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, I think, or is it 3? It might be 3. I think it's 2. No, I think it's 3. It's either 2 or 3. So, the Sandman scene where he's in the Sandman whirlpool, or the sand whirlpool, and he turns into Sandman, is such a emotional scene. I don't know why, but it always made me cry when I was little, and I still get emotional when I look at it now. It's just so beautiful. I really like that scene so much. But yeah, I would love to see Sandman, as I've said before, in Marvel Rivals. His abilities would be so cool. But let's get into some more Spider-Man. So I think, obviously, the main ones that you get off the top of your head: Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Killer Croc's Batman, right? I think Killer Croc's Batman, my fault. What's the Doc Ock? No, I just said that. Lizard, right? Lizard from Spider-Man. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering these villain names. I have not been into Spider-Man since I was like 9, so bear with me. This is probably really embarrassing. Electro. Oh, you could definitely add Electro. I can see him in the game for sure. What else? Rhino as a tank would be great. Electro would definitely be a duelist. Doc Ock would be a strategist. Green Goblin could be a strategist or a duelist. Lizard would be a tank, obviously. Who else? I'm trying to think of Spider-Man villains that you can add. Venom's already in the game. Aunt May? I mean, you could add Aunt May or Uncle Ben, but I don't know if they would be very compelling characters for the narrative. I don't know. we'll see what they add. They might run out of ideas and end up adding Aunt May. What would Aunt May's ultimate ability be? I feel like she would pop her line. She would say, "With great power." Oh, wait, no, that's Uncle Ben, isn't it? Uncle Ben's ultimate would definitely be him saying the line and then just blowing up into 1,000 pieces. With great power comes great responsibility, and just explodes. No, I'm joking. I can't think of any other Spider-Man villains. Those are the main Oh, Mysterio. How could I forget Mysterio? He would definitely be a strategist, duelist, right? He would definitely be that type of character who would cast spells and stuff, a bit like Doctor Strange, a bit like Cloak and Dagger, flying around, going invisible, duplicating yourself. I feel like that would be a crazy character to add. It would definitely spice up the meta of the game. Who else could they add? I think Green Goblin would be probably the safest pick as a duelist. Sandman as a vanguard. Lizard as a vanguard. Spider-Man has so many villains. He has so many great villains that would work in Marvel Rivals. I like to say that Spider-Man's rogue is like Batman's rogue if it was Marvel, because it pretty much is. You could add Carnage, you can add... there's so many Spider-Man villains that you can add to Marvel Rivals. But those are the characters that I would most like to see in Marvel Rivals. Hopefully some of these will be added in the next year or two. If they do, I would be insanely happy, especially if they had Silver Surfer, Drax, Gamora, Nova, Ant-Man would be so cool, Sandman would be so cool. Bug, they gotta add Bug eventually. I hope I don't die before they add Bug, because it might be a little while. But yeah, that has been my list of characters that I am hoping comes to Marvel Rivals. If you work on Marvel Rivals and you are looking for some ideas to add characters to your games, to characters to add to your games, by all means, take these ideas, take my suggestions, and I pray that you faithfully adapt them. I can't speak. Faithfully adapt them to the game, because the style is so great in the game. If you haven't checked out Marvel Rivals, I highly suggest downloading it for free on many gaming platforms, checking it out for yourself. This has been the Nerdiest Podcast. This is a long one. I hope you enjoyed. If you have listened all this time, I bid you farewell until the next episode, which I don't know when that's coming out, but hey, what can you do? This is the Nerdiest Podcast, after all. This is Charles the Nerdiest, logging out of the Nerdiest Podcast on Spotify. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Share with your friends and go play some Marvel Rivals. Goodbye.